The showbread is also considered most holy as it symbolized Jesus Christ, the bread of life. It was made without leaven to represent purity of Christ and the need for people to forsake sin. Leaven was considered a polluting or less than pure ingredient. So at certain moments they had to have ceremonies with unleavened bread to represent the purity. So that's what this bread represents. Over here, come a little closer if you want. We have the altar of incense with 4 horns. That represents the power of God. This was discussed in Exodus chapter 30. It was also made of acacia wood and overlaid with pure gold. The incense was continually burning upon it. It was placed there by the priest. Its burning and the rising smoke symbolized prayer and reminds us that we need to say our prayers and they will rise up to heaven. And since the next person hasn't shown up yet, I'm going to take this one too. So here we have the second veil of the temple. This separates the holy place, this section, from what was called the Holy of Holies, or the most holy place. Now, this was discussed in Exodus chapter 26. And this was only visible to the priests and the high priest who had access to this part of the temple. It was more elaborate than the first part. As you can see, the upper area had a very elaborate, I don't know, I'm not a seamstress, so I don't know what that's called, but embroidery and flourishes. But it's also got the same colors of purple, blue, and scarlet. It also features cherubim, guardians of sacred spaces on it. They're guarding entrance into the next area.
So this place is made of gold?
Let me see. It conceals the holiest space from unauthorized eyes, and according to the Apostle Paul,
made of gold?
it also signified the flesh of Jesus Christ. That's found in Hebrews.
To look like gold.
And let's see if they're ready for us.
And
Just about to go. Any questions about what we've seen here? There's a lot of symbols. Still taking some photos. Any questions about anything you saw outside? Or anything up to this point? Or you're okay? You'll get the next group. Okay. So the replacement for here did show up. Okay. Let's go ahead and start on in if you want to. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
We'll take a quick picture if you don't mind. They're the group of 4.
It was my turn.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Come gather around. As you started this tour way back on the outside, you entered into the outer courtyard where all Israelites were allowed to come. Next, you passed for the altar of sacrifice where only the priests were allowed. And then as you came to the first veil of the temple, entered the holy place, only Moses or an assigned priest or high priest was ever allowed in that room. Now you are here in the most holy of all the holy places of the tabernacle. And its name is the Holy of Holies. And this is a sacred space that God revealed to Moses. The reason for this space was that God would have a place that he would get to come and talk to his prophets. In fact, in Ezekiel, in the Old Testament, now I don't have any life, God said, Moses wrote that God said, "There I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee." The only object in this room is this. It's called anyone know what this is? Ark of the Covenant. That's right. This is called the Ark of the Covenant. And the Ark of the Covenant, Christians believe, is an atonement symbol. So I invite you, as you listen, to think of it that way from the Christian faith. As you inside the ark, there's three things. Does anyone know what any of those are? Can you all look inside and see? What you recognize anything in there?
The Ten Commandments.
The first thing is the tablets that Moses brought down from Mount Sinai, the 10 Commandments on. What else do you see in there?
Does Moses stick?
Close. It is Moses' stick, but it was the stick of Aaron. So this was Aaron's staff. Aaron was Moses' brother. He was a high priest, the first high priest, and all his sons were given the priesthood in the tribe of Levi.
Wasn't he the one that made that golden cow statue for everyone?
Yes, so he had to repent, as we all need to repent, don't we? But he chose to turn his life over to the Lord and make it separate. That was his real brother. Aaron was his real brother. And as you see, his stick, called his staff, it has flowers on it. It actually would have flowers and almonds if it were the real staff. And that was because a lot of people wanted the special privilege to have the priesthood, the different tribes, Ephraim and Judah and Levi, and all, you saw those flags as you came up, they all wanted the priesthood. And so the Lord told Moses, have them all line up and each bring their staff, and the one that buds or flowers, that's the one whose family will have the priesthood. And as you see, it was Aaron's. The third thing in there, as you see, is a pot representing the pot of manna. Manna came from heaven to feed the Israelites because there wasn't enough food out in the desert for a million people. And the last thing to teach you about here was the lid. This lid was always closed on the ark. We only opened it for you to see. And it's called the mercy seat. The mercy seat had two cherubs on top. What's a cherub? Another name for cherub? That's right, an angel. And these two angels with arms outstretched. The Bible teaches us angels were in charge of, they were called guardians of holy space. And this was a very holy, the most holy of all holy spaces. In fact, the whole tabernacle was built as a resting place for the Ark of the Covenant. And once a year, somebody was allowed in this room only. Once a year on the Day of Atonement, or Yom Kippur. And on that day, the high priest would sprinkle blood from the sacrificial lamb to the altar on that day. Christians believe that is to signify and remember and look forward at that time to the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Any questions before we go on to clothing? Next, you'll hear a little bit about the clothing of the high priesthood.
We have the privilege to tell you about the clothing that the high priest wore. It consists of 8 pieces, and we learned about those 8 pieces in Exodus 29. So we have the headpiece, and then we have the